So that's what I wrote for the first part of what I have. If you have if you have anything to comment on that.
Oh yeah, the finish line part. Well, there was a couple times you mentioned it. I remember whenever we first um started to choose this path in life where you wanted to have a better understanding and actually wanted to, take life in a more spiritual type of matter. I remember thinking, I think, well, we were 23 at the time. I remember around 24, 25, I thought that like it had come to an end. Or so I was trying to take in too much information, like where I felt like if I don't hurry up and get this done, like my life, like I'm never gonna like. I think I was trying to I was trying to force information, and I was trying to read too much, and I just could. It got to a point where I couldn't handle it anymore. Where I kind of set some books down and I stopped reading, trying to read five different books all at once, and then just started to choose one book and read a bit and part out of that, and then choose another book, and then just kind of took life a little bit more slower. But before that, I thought that like there was a deadline to meet. Like there was like you have to hurry up and learn this stuff. You have to hurry up. Like that was kind of the mindset I carried at the time, and I was always trying to go about my day where like I gotta hurry up and get home, and I gotta like watch this video about this documentary because I need to learn something, or I need to read this book in a certain amount of time because if I don't get it done by then, and then I would read a book, and then sometimes I would read a book so quick and so fast that I wouldn't retain any of the information that
Mm-hmm.
that that I read. So it was because I was trying to rush because I thought I needed to hurry up and get it done.
Yeah, there's this yeah, there's some like anxiety that kind of comes with especially like when you look at a lot of well, I mean if you look at, just any religion, there's like you have to live your life this certain way in order to get to heaven, yeah,
Obligations.
you have to live life this way. So there's like an anxiety, there's a built-in anxiety that like that comes in within, but not just in religion, like even in spiritual communities, like there's like we know we're evolving, we know that we're trying to essentially get to the next level, but like there's this like kind of becomes like this almost like this anxiety of like you have to also behave a certain way, or you should need to be a certain way in order to to otherwise you might miss the deadline and you might have to reincarnate again
Yeah.
in this cycle for another 75,000 years. And then you look at life and you hear things like there's certain cycles that the earth goes through, that some life, that third density goes through of 75,000 years. And then you think like, oh, well, 75,000 years, but this life itself has just been hard. And I've only been alive for how many years? What I have to, if I don't hurry up and evolve, I'm going to have to repeat for 75,000 years. What the hell? There's that anxiety that kind of comes with it too, that like, that people, and it's just, I think it all just comes into it comes from obviously a lot of misunderstandings, and it comes from like just this, there's this anxiety that's kind of built into our society of like needing to behave a certain way, like you need to be a certain way because we're constantly told all the time what we need to be like and how we should be carrying ourselves in daily life all the time essentially. And then I think that's kind of like where that comes from too. And I definitely thought, especially like even in the beginning too, like when we like, in a weird sense, I thought like spiritual evolution also meant like, I'm not gonna lie, like I thought like it was also about gaining like abilities, gaining like supernatural abilities, being more telepathic and becoming more this and that, and like it's I thought it was like that in the beginning too. And then like as like time went on, you realize like stuff like that isn't, it's not really, it really isn't important. Like
Yeah.
that's really not an important aspect of like, of at least where we're at in life. Like your most powerful tool is choice.
Yeah, and a lot of people just some people do experience those types of things, those supernatural abilities naturally. Some people are, mediums and people who channel information. Some people just naturally carry that, and I salute you for being able to hang on to things like that, or being able to see things that we don't see, because that would definitely be hard for me to, a concept for me to grab onto, because I mean, My mind is all over the place all the time already, and I have a hard enough time trying to manage my life right now. So I couldn't imagine trying to like talk to other people about like all the things, all the visions, constant visions I would see, and all the sensitivity I would feel being around 10 people, you know, and being able to read the room like that. You know what I mean? Because that's what mediums, channelers, they can feel all those things because they're sensitive to all different types of energy. They can feel it all, you know.
Yeah, and then I just want to say this really fast. Um, don't ever think that if you ever come across somebody who is that type of person, who is like, you know, they claim to be psychic and they just happen to, you know, they display psychic abilities. Don't think for 1 second that they are this upper echelon of a human being, because they're not. Like, in reality, everybody does possess these gifts. At one level or another, people, we all do experience these on one level or another. Like, if you're thinking of somebody, next thing you know, that person might just, for whatever reason, they texted you or they called you and you're like, oh, I was just thinking about you. Or you're thinking about somebody and maybe the next day you see them and then you're like, oh, I was just thinking about you. And they're like, oh, really? I was thinking about you. Like, the mirror is reflecting back to you guys. Um, and you know, sometimes you might be in a room with somebody and next thing you know, like, you say something or you're thinking something, and then next thing you know, somebody says something that you were thinking. Like, you guys are playing off of each other. You guys are that's a display of psychic abilities. So don't think that, like, because somebody claims to be psychic or they have like certain abilities, that they're this upper echelon of a person. There's like a pathway within their being that is just a little bit more open than you, and maybe they work and work and work and refine that gift. But in all reality, that's really not what the spiritual path is really all about. Like, that type of stuff kind of does come with it, but it's not what it that's not the point of it.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that just naturally comes along. Like, you don't just wake up one day and think like, I'm going to choose a spiritual life, and then all of a sudden your third eye is open, and then you can start accessing people's akashic records, and you know, you can start reading people and read their minds. It doesn't work like that. People are born into that because they're meant to be born into it. Some people are born into everyone has a sixth sense, okay? But there's some people that are born into this life with that are a lot more in tune with their sixth sense. A lot of TV shows will tell you that only certain people have a sixth sense. Everyone has a sixth sense. It's your sense of knowing. Everyone knows something, obviously, but some people are more knowing than other people.
Yeah.
And that's what that means. You know what's going to happen before it happens, or you know something.
Yeah. And yeah, that's so yeah. Just like I said, like, that's just like, that is one thing that is probably the main with this little topic that we just had. Yeah.
Back in the early days, they would have been seen as witches, just so you guys know. Like, women like that.
Yeah.
If you were a woman and you were a psychic or a medium, you would have been seen as a witch
you probably would have been burned.
Yeah, the people would have been like, oh my god, she possesses demonic witch powers, or there's something wrong with her, and then they probably would have killed you or hung you or something, or they would have burned you.
Yeah.
Like, so that's you know, it's all a different the way we conduct ourselves around these types of people has definitely changed over time.
Mm-hmm.